Assalamualaikum. My group will present about macroeconomic issues in Malaysia. First of all, introduction. Macroeconomics is the branch of economics that deals with the structure, performance, behavior, and decision-making of the whole or aggregate economy. Macroeconomics studies economy-wide phenomena such as inflation, price levels, rate of economic growth, national income, gross domestic product (GDP), and changes in unemployment. Macroeconomic issues are inflation rate. Inflation rate, consumer prices in Malaysia fell by 1.7% year-on-year in November 2020. Compared to market consensus and October's figure of a 1.5% drop. This was the ninth straight month of deflation and the steepest since June amid ongoing COVID-19 disruption, as prices fell faster for transport, negative 11.1% vs negative 10.2% in October. Second, political crisis. Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin was sworn in as Prime Minister in March after his predecessor Mahathir Mohamad's sudden resignation sparked a week-long tussle for the top job between the two main political factions in Malaysia. The no-confidence motion against Muhyiddin was sought by Mahathir. Regarding the channels of transmission, we find that political instability adversely affects growth by lowering the rates of productivity growth and, to a smaller degree, physical and human capital accumulation. Finally, economic freedom and ethnic homogeneity are beneficial to growth, while democracy may have a small negative effect. Third is cutting subsidies. Malaysia plans to cut more subsidies and move billions of ringgit in government employee housing loans off its balance sheets to bolster its fiscal position, even as a growing scandal threatens Prime Minister Najib Razak's ability to implement potentially unpopular policies. The government will gradually remove subsidies from petrol, liquefied petroleum gas and cooking oil in the coming years. Fourth is economic growth. Malaysia's gross domestic product (GDP) is expected to grow between 6.5% and 7.5% in 2021, after a 4.5% contraction in 2020 owing to the COVID-19 pandemic. The strong rebound in GDP growth will be driven by the anticipated improvement in global growth and international trade. In addition, the impact of the stimulus packages implemented by the government is expected to have spillover effects and provide an additional boost to the economy in 2021, according to the Ministry of Finance (MOF) Economic Outlook 2021. Employment and unemployment. The employment rate in Malaysia climbed to 4.7% in October 2020 from 3.2% in the corresponding month of the previous year, amid the severe impact caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. The number of unemployed jumped 46.1% from a year earlier to 748,200, while employment declined by 0.4% to 15.21 million. Meantime, the labor force rose 1.1% to 15.96 million. In September 2020, the jobless rate was at 4.6%. The economy is seen contracting sharply this year before bouncing back in 2021 on the back of firming consumer spending, stronger construction activity and rebounding exports. As demand from key trading partners recovers, They say the uncertain course of the pandemic clouds the outlook. Focus Economics panelists sees the economy growing 6.6% in 2021, which is unchanged from last month's forecast. In 2022, the panel sees the economy expanding 4.6%.
Macroeconomic theory. Macroeconomic is traditionally broken down into macroeconomic theory and macroeconomic policy. Macroeconomic theory involves the construction and use of models of the whole macroeconomic. Economic builds such models so that they can explain the structure of economic and the role and significance of the part that make up this structure. Macroeconomic models also help the economists. Macroeconomic models help economics understand how the separate components of the macroeconomic are related. Also, economic and policy makers make predictions or forecasts about the economic and about effect of changes in one economic variable such as exchange rate on other variables such as price and output.
Conclusion: calling unemployment, inflation, the business cycle, foreign exchange, and long-term economic growth problems suggests a search for solution. To some observers, the only obvious problem solver around is the government. And they suggest then that government policy should be focus of discussion. But of course, the optimal government policy may be to have no policy. Economic growth can be measured in nominal terms, which include inflation, or in real terms, which are adjusted for inflation. The gross domestic product (GDP) can be determined using three different approaches. First, the product. Second, the income. Third, the expenditure technique, which gives the same result. The income technique works on the principle that the income of the productive factors must be equal to the value of their product, and determine GDP by finding the sum of all producers' income.